Krishna. So now we begin Canto 1, Chapter 5. And as we already mentioned, Chapter 5 is Narada's instruction. So, Narada's instructions, so this chapter is divided into two sections. Chapter, not the instructions, but the chapter. So first is section 1, which is from text 1 till text 7. And it is Vyasadev's submission. So after being dissatisfied, he submits to his spiritual master. So wonderful example of submission, that when the Vyasadeva is dissatisfied by his own life, by his performance, by his contribution, he submits to his spiritual master Narad Muni. And then we have section 2, which is text number 8 to text number 40, which explains Narad Muni's response to the inquiries of Vyasadeva. So Narad Muni's response is mentioned. So here the disciple inquires about the cause of his dissatisfaction despite all accomplishments after his introspection, and Narad Muni gives the response. And that response is elaborated in text 8 to 40 in a series of points which we will be discussing afterwards. Now let us focus on section 1, that is text 1 to 7. How Vyasadeva submits, as a disciple submits to the spiritual master. So when we see Vyasadeva's submission, now in chapter 4, Narad Muni's arrival is mentioned. So now in section 1, which is 1 to 7, the first point is Narad Muni arrives. It is mentioned he is comfortably seated. So an asana is given to the spiritual master, and it is mentioned he apparently smiles, kind of hinting. He basically hints at the cause of dissatisfaction. It doesn't take long for Narad Muni to understand. In fact, Vyasadeva himself had introspected, and Narad Muni doesn't take long him to find out the cause of dissatisfaction of Vyasadeva. Now Narad Muni says that, are you satisfied with identifying body and mind? He says, are you satisfied identifying body and mind? As objects of self-realization. Very interesting. Just taking care of the bodily needs and just focusing on the mental fulfillment, just the fulfillment of the mind, pleasures of mind and pleasures of body, as the objects of self-realization. And that's what Vyasadeva had very tried his best not to disturb the body and the mind, by presenting religious principles very, very carefully in a compromising spirit, so that the enjoyment is also not disturbed and the goal is also achieved. So it was apparently kind of diluted. The real purpose was not fully focused. So identifying body and mind as the objects of self-realization. That was the hint given by Narad Muni. Then Narad Muni also, let us write it here, Narad Muni also acknowledges the accomplishments. So various accomplishments are made by Srila Vyasadeva, and Narad Muni does acknowledge that yes, such and such work is performed. He acknowledges his inquiries, He says, your inquiries were so deep and fulfilled. Your inquiries, he says, are all, his studies are well fulfilled. He acknowledges his work Mahabharata, and also he acknowledges his research into the subject of Brahma, his delineation of this subject. All this is fully acknowledged. So basically his personal inquiries and his contribution and his detailed contribution, thorough, up to the what is the ultimate he can think of, that is fully explained. And after giving all these hints and acknowledging accomplishments in section 1 only, this is from section, this is text 1 to 4. Now after covering all this by Narad Muni, Vyasadeva responds to Narad Muni, and that is where he submits. As we already mentioned, section 1 is all about submission. So Narad Muni hints at all this. Then Vyasadeva, what does he do? First thing is he agrees or accepts that he is dissatisfied. He agrees that whatever acknowledgement Narad Muni is telling, yes, he has done it, but still he is dissatisfied. He is not ashamed. He is not trying to hide his dissatisfaction. He is very clear. Yes, he is dissatisfied. And not only that, after agreeing very honestly, a very honest submission is there, then Vyasadeva requests to diagnose the root cause of all deficiency, all dissatisfaction. What is the root cause? What is insufficient? Please let me know. Vyasadeva wants to know that what is the cause of feeling of insufficiency in spite of such a thorough contribution. And after that he glorifies Narada, that how Sri Narada is fully capable. Sri Narada is fully capable of satisfying Vyasadeva by pointing out the root cause, by diagnosing the root cause of his dissatisfaction. That is the capability of Narada. How does he glorify Narada? Let us see that. Now he glorifies Narada in text 5 to 7. How does he glorify Narada in 5 to 7? First he says that you are a man of unlimited knowledge. Why? Because you are the offspring of Brahma. So basically based on his birth, high birth, and thus unlimited knowledge. Then he says, you know everything that is mysterious, knower of all mysterious. So what is hidden in the deepest core of somebody's heart becomes known to the spiritual master because of his power of worship, because he worships. Now because he worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the maintainer of spiritual world, who is the creator and destroyer of material world. By that power of worship he develops a deep connection with Paramatma, and therefore he can know everything that is mysterious. So he is a man of unlimited knowledge, not only superficial knowledge but knower of all that is mysterious. And then like super soul, he is all pervading. He is all pervading. And the example is given, one can check in the text number 6 and 7. Example of sun is given and example of air is given, which can go in any inner regions. Sun which penetrates anything inside out. So similarly, like super soul, he is all pervasive. Sun can travel everywhere within 3 worlds, and air is all pervasive. These are 2 qualities. Narad Muni therefore is glorified. Now 1 to 7, Vyasadeva submits to Narada, glorifying all this and expecting his dissatisfaction to be solved. Now Narad Muni starts speaking, and when a disciple with all humility and honesty submits to spiritual master, what does he expect? He expects heavy words of correction, of finding the mistake, sometimes chastisement. So this is session or section 2. Which is text number 8 to 40. Hare Krishna.